guys! I'm really excited to show you my new dated 2022 planners. These are all of the planners that I have just prepped and either started or I'm about to start that I'm going to be using in the new year. In addition to these, I also have some undated journals and planners that I started before 2022, which I'm going to be carrying forward. For example, the Fat Hobo, which is my 2019 to 2023 A5 5-year techo that I will be showing you in another video. So let's get into the new 2022 planners. First up, we have an A6 original Hobonichi in the beautiful, shall we have some tea cover. And I've set this up and I'm going to be using it as a kind of vision of my best days daily planner. So those of you who know me probably know that I have struggled over the years to find the perfect use for the original Hobonichi, and I've used it for all kinds of different things, ranging from daily planner to gratitude log to spending tracker to home planner, and nothing has ever quite fit. But I keep coming back to it, and there's something intriguing about it that just really makes me want to find a use for it. So this is my newest experiment. I decided that I wanted to have a fun planner that I could stickerate on a daily basis that wouldn't be too time consuming and that I could use basically just as a way of setting a nice tone for the upcoming day. So what I'm going to be using it for, and I'll just show you because I've set up the first few spreads, is I thought every evening I could stickerate the next day's spread and I would use a theme. So either it would be a particular sticker book, or it will be a particular color, or it will be some kind of theme. So this one I did in purple and gold. This one is all from the Pride Happy Planner sticker pack, etc. As you can see, I couldn't resist doing the first few spreads already. But basically, it will just give me a very manageable, short opportunity to stickerate a fun spread on a daily basis, and then I'm just going to write in the things that I would like to do the next day. So it could be a mix of work and personal and fun and tasks, and basically just kind of like set a nice tone, kind of like a vision board, I guess, for the next day. That's how I'm thinking of using it. So like I said, this is an experiment. I don't know whether it will work out or not. It could be that I will end up consigning this to the scrap heap of unsuccessful A6 Hobonichi original attempts, but we'll see. And at the moment I'm super excited about it because I've been planning this for the last few months since it arrived, and I'm looking forward to getting to start it in a couple of days. So I'm planning to use the monthly spread to put on one sticker per day that matches the theme of that day. And then I'm just going to write one word or a small phrase for the thing that I really want to focus on for that day. So like I said, a kind of little mini vision planner. So I'm really excited about starting this, and that is going to be my first new acquisition for 2022. Next up, we have a series of weeks planners. So this one is the infamous Nuance Juicy Grapes Weeks, and I have just added a couple of stickers. So on the front it says cat in a variety of different Jewish languages, and on the back it says wisdom and understanding in Paleo Hebrew. So I teach Hebrew and Jewish languages, so it's kind of appropriate. And this is my on-the-go planner. So when I bought this Weeks, I had a bunch of comments from concerned fellow planner addicts saying, don't buy the Nuance, it doesn't lay flat, which I was really touched by because I just love how in the planner community, like, we look out for each other, and you know, nobody wants someone to buy a planner that doesn't lay flat and turns out to be a big disappointment. So I bought it knowing that it doesn't lay flat, and I thought that because I'm going to be using it as my on-the-go planner, that would be okay, because my idea was that I would basically just keep it in my wallet, which is a small Hobonichi drawer pouch. And just an FYI, if you look at the website, it says that the small drawer pouches don't fit the Weeks, but they actually do. It's a very tight fit, so there's kind of really no room on the sides, but it does zip up absolutely fine, and I've been using it like that for a few weeks and it's no problem. So that was another reason why I wanted to go with the Nuance Weeks, because it's basically indestructible. And so you can see I've been using it like this carrying it around with the drawer pouch, which has everything that I need while I'm outside. So it's like a one-stop shop, and it can also fit my phone in the pocket. So it's super convenient because that's the only thing I need to take with me, and I have my keys in it and everything else in it. So it's really nice because I don't have to worry about losing things. So basically this is good for that because it's so rugged, and I've been using it since the end of November when it first started, and it's absolutely unblemished. It really is very durable. There are no marks on it. It just bounces back into shape. And the fact that it doesn't lay flat doesn't bother me. It's true that it doesn't lay flat, but because I only use this on the go, I use it when I'm either at work. So I'm a lecturer at university, and we've been teaching in person this term. And it's been absolutely fine in terms of just taking it out, writing in it, and then putting it back. So it doesn't bother me that it doesn't lay flat because I don't use it for extended sessions and I don't decorate it. So how I'm using it is, and I'll go through this in more detail in a separate video just on my 3 different weeks, because I do have 3 weeks that I'm using for different purposes. But I use the monthlies to write down anything that I need to take home and record in one of my planners that stay at home, so I don't forget any like kind of future dates or appointments. And then I use the weeklies for appointments and to-dos. And then I use the dailies for going to take up more room. And I basically just use it for everything that I need while I'm on the go. So this has been a huge improvement to my system because I never had a dedicated on-the-go planner before. And because I now have this, it means that I don't have to take my work planner with me when I go out. This is super convenient. I just note anything that I need down in this, and then when I come home, I transfer it to my work planner, which now stays at home, and that's my Hobonichi cousin. So as you can imagine, it's very nice not having to drag that around with me everywhere. Next up is, I think, my favorite weeks of 2022. This is the special edition Chinese language weeks that I think is only for sale in China, and I got mine from a Chinese Etsy shop, which I'll leave linked down below, because I had no idea that these existed. And it's the bow and tie fabric, which I absolutely love. And it has pandas, and the pandas are all in different positions and doing different things, and some of them are eating bamboo and some of them are just like rolling around, and they're baby pandas, and I absolutely love it. And it's also in Chinese, which I think is really cool. I've always wanted to have Chinese language weeks since they started coming out with them. So this is my tracker, and I use this for tracking absolutely everything in my life. So health, purchases, everything to do with our dogs, anything to do with the house, basically like kind of anything that I need to know when I last did it, I put it in here. So in the monthlies, I track exercise, and also when we do things like change the sheets, or when the dogs have their flea medicine, or one of the dogs needs to be weighed regularly, so that kind of thing. Here I was taking antibiotics, so I marked that down so I would know how many I'd taken per day, and that works really well. And then I use the weeklies for health tracking, so anything to do with like how I'm feeling, medication that I've taken, anything like that. And I have fibromyalgia, so it's quite useful to be able to track, you know, things like sleep and how I'm feeling, and if anything particular has happened that day, so later I can look back and see, like, if I had a flare, it was right after I did something stressful, or like here we went on a long drive to Wales where we are now, so just in case that has an effect. And then in the notes pages, I've done something new for the first time. So I wanted to keep track of purchases, particularly non-essential purchases like planner stuff. And so what I've done is, because the notes pages are numbered, I decided that I would use these and use the numbers to map onto the week. So basically I started this, and then that means that I'll use around, like, say 51 or 52 spreads, and then I'll have about 20 extra pages if I want to keep track of other things. So things like passwords I'm putting on the last page, and like some various other stuff. So then I have my 100 list, which is a feature that I really like that they have in the Chinese and Japanese versions of the weeks. And here I'm keeping track of shows, mostly K-drama, that I want to watch. And then they have some other spreads that are really cool that I have never seen in the Japanese version of the planner, like this one, which is like a 365-day tracker. So I haven't decided yet what to do with this. It feels like so precious that I want to find a really good use for it. And I'm thinking of waiting until the 1st of January and then starting there and seeing what I can come up with for that. And then I have a wish list here. So it has some spreads that are for travel. So this one is for train travel and this one is for air travel. And instead I'm going to use them for different things because they have checklists. So it's like a packing list. But instead I'm using this to keep track of tattoos that I want to get. And I'm going to use this for tracking something else, which I haven't yet decided. So that is my tracker. So this again is something that I experimented with once, I think at the beginning of last year, and somehow it didn't really work out. But then I decided that I had bits of trackers in all various planners and I wanted to consolidate them and put them in one place. So since I've been using this, and it's been almost a month now, it has been working really well, and I like the fact that I can put everything that needs to be tracked in this one planner, and I really like that. And this is a Muji fountain pen, which I really like. So that's the second of my new weeks. And here we have my third new weeks, which I showed in a previous video when I did my 2022 Hobo haul. So this is the Tiger Weeks from the Bow and Tie line, which has become my favorite line of weeks. And I'm using this as a bedside planner. So this is something that I introduced last year to my lineup, and it became really, really effective. And I liked it so much that I wanted to continue with it. So basically, this is a planner that I leave by my bedside in my bedside table, and it's always there. So when I go to bed, if one of my other many planners is in a different room or out of reach, I don't have to worry about getting up to get it. I can just put whatever it is that I want to write down in this planner, and then in the morning I can transfer it over to the relevant planner where it has to go. So basically I just use this kind of as a sort of free-for-all. I put the things, if it's something that would go in a monthly section of my other planner, I put it in the monthly section. If it's something that would go in the weekly section, I put it there. And if it's something, you know, kind of bigger, then I put it there. So I've also been in the notes pages. So this can be random notes, whatever it needs to be. And I've also been using it for daily to-do lists because I don't have a daily planner. As things stand, that's about to change. So I'll show you that soon. So basically this is just kind of whatever needs to go into it. And the thing about it is that it's a constant, it's by my bed. I know that it's there. I know that if I ever need a planner, when I don't have one of my other planners to hand, I'll put it in this. So this is a really useful one to have. And the weeks are great for these different purposes because they're so small. So for my on-the-go planner, it's just really convenient having a weeks because it has enough room to put everything in, but it takes up so little space. And for the tracker, it's nice and compact, and having these different sections is really good. So I can, you know, do the spending tracking and everything else in it. And then this one is just really good as well because it has the capacity to absorb whatever I want to put in it, and I can use different sections so it can be easy to find things later. And I really like having a bedside planner. So those are my 3 weekses. Now, on to one of my most exciting new planners. So this is a Kinbor A5 weekly planner with note pages, and I have to thank somebody who left me a comment a couple of videos ago asking if I had ever tried a Kinbor, and I hadn't, and I kind of knew that they were like a Hobonichi dupe, and because I'm so loyal to Hobonichi, I was like, oh, I don't really know if I want to check that out. But then, thanks to her comment, I had a look at them, and I discovered, to my fascination, that actually, even though they do have a lot of similarities with Hobonichi, they have enough differences to kind of justify it. I felt it's not like a straightforward Hobonichi knockoff, I feel. It's kind of like a combination between a Hobonichi and a Jibun techo and a take a note planner, and like there are a few different elements in it. So I'm going to do a separate walkthrough of this in more detail, but for now I just wanted to show you briefly that this is a weekly, hourly dated A5 planner. They also have a few different versions. They have a week-sized one, and they have a daily A5, and they have an undated one. There might be an A6 as well, but I got this from a UK shop, which I'll leave linked down below, and it only has the weeks and this weekly A5 version. So I'm going to use this to keep track of all of James's information, because he is like kind of has a really difficult time staying organized. He has ADHD, and so because obviously I am the organizational queen, I thought that it would be useful and fun if I could keep track of his appointments and stuff in this, and that way if he forgets something I will have it in here. And you know, I love tracking and planning, obviously, so that's what I'm going to use this for. And I think it's really good that it has hourly spreads, so I can just mark out when he has an appointment. And in the back it has about 60 note pages, and they're numbered, so it's different from the Hobonichi Cousin because it doesn't have enough for a whole year, but it does have enough that if you want to put in like shopping lists or particular longer to-do lists, you can put them there. So like I said, I'll do a separate walkthrough of this, but this is going to be for James, and we'll leave it out on the table so that he can see what he has to do. And then last but not least, this is an A5 5-year techo in a Salty Katy jelly cover and a Nautique mulberry folio cover, which is really beautiful. So this is my second A5 5-year techo. I also have, as I've mentioned, the fat hobo. So this one is going to be called the skinny hobo because I am not going to put any stickers in this at all. So it's going to remain as Hobonichi designed it, nice and slim. And I'm going to use this as a daily planner. So I thought that it would be fun to be able to see what my daily to-dos look like over a 5-year period. And I think that this has enough room, even though it's not the traditional shape that you would expect for a daily planner, where I would kind of think more in terms of like vertical lists. But basically because it has these nice grids, I can just make a nice running bullet point to-do list here. And I'll use the left-hand side and then a bit of the right-hand side if I have spillover. And then I'll just go through the years like that. So this will basically just be uncategorized, chronological to-do list from morning until evening, whenever I feel like I need to just like kind of get a handle of things and put everything into one planner and just work off of that one planner. That is what this is going to be for. So I'm super excited about this, and I'm really excited about all of these planners, and I'm very much looking forward to starting the ones that I haven't started yet, which is these 3, and I'm going to be starting them the day after tomorrow. So I'll do some separate videos going into more detail about my 3-week setup and also about this Kinbor, but in the meantime I hope that you've enjoyed this. It's really nice to be back, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!